We have TDM. Those will kind of go away. Pretty soon it will just be AAX as we go. So throughout the demo, I'll talk to you about some of the new plugins that are already AAX. All right, so I'm going to concentrate on music production for this particular demo. I'm still using HDX. In fact, I've got a two-card HDX system, which may be overkill. You'll see that later on when I show you how much DSP we're using. And also, of course, I'm using Pro Tools 10. So take a look at the session over there. Here's what I'm using right now. And this is kind of a massive session. It's actually two sessions compressed into one. I brought in two discrete mixes and put it into one session. So let me just scroll across and see what I mean. Notice all the DSP up top. Keep going. We're at track number 60. Boom. Keep going. 108, 128. Boom, we get to the end, we're at 168 tracks in here. So it's a lot of tracks. Again, two discrete sessions brought together into one. And a whole lot of DSP. But I didn't stop there. I mean, that wouldn't be enough. A lot of tracks is one thing, but people don't really get that. The guys that are doing a lot of production, maybe you're dealing with virtual instruments. So I have a giant session with a whole bunch of virtual instruments in there. Well, I got about 10 different virtual instruments, but not just the ones that Avid makes. We make some great virtual instruments, absolutely. But I also wanted to show, Pro Tools is a music creation hub. So I've got a lot of third-party instruments in there too. You've got things like Omnisphere and Stylus RMX and, some of the raw tape and stuff. So a lot of different plugins in there. So let's get started. Let's start right from the top. Extremely simple, a kick and a snare. So for this, I'm just using one of the virtual instruments. This is Contact. It's made by Native Instruments. It's got a little simple, drum kit loaded in there. Next to it, there's another plugin. This is the new plugin, an AAX format plugin. It's called Mod Delay 3. So I want to put a little bit of delay on the on that snare, so it's in rhythm. So you get a little bit of delay. And I'm getting to all that stuff from my Artist Series console over here. I'm gonna bring that delay back. This is gonna be R&B. I don't want that much delay. All right, so we're there. So we're getting close. Now I want to add a little bit more drums to this. It's obviously very basic. So I'm gonna bring up another virtual instrument. This is Stylus RMX. Maybe you guys have used this one before. Popular. This is from Spectrasonics. I love these guys. I love this plugin. It's just a ton of different loops and samples and like little tidbits and things that will always play in time, right? So just kind of like a little drum production thing, and it works great inside of Pro Tools. I can, in this case, just drag and drop. Boom, we'll drop that file over here. Let's go to another one. Drag and drop that in. And I'm just gonna copy these two and duplicate them out so they last a little bit longer. So now we're just starting to build up the drums. It is too easy. That's right. I'm old school. I would much prefer play that stuff in. But why should I play it in when it sounds this good that fast, right? And I can still use things like real-time properties or quantize. So I can quantize it to just tweak them a little bit to make it feel more like I want the track to feel, right? So simple, easy stuff. Let's keep moving on. I want to add some more in here. There's another popular virtual instrument, Omnisphere. Composers love this one because it has big, giant, complex type sounds, right? I've got this in here as well, along with my 168 other tracks. In this case, it's a little bass sound, nothing special, just kind of a little bubbling bass thing going on in there, right? And that's cool. If I play with the track, it is what it is. It's cool, I like it. Just want to add a little bit of filtering to that, though. It's too loud. It's got too much edge to it. So let's do some filtering, a little bit of automation. So that's what you're seeing down here. I have an extra lane that's open. It's already tied to this track, and I just have that there so you can see the automation as we're recording it in. Now I could draw it in, but again, I'm old school. I'm just gonna play the automation in. It feels better when you do it. So get a little count off. See the automation, just from Mod Wheel, right? Open up that filter, close it down, open it, close it down, and it's just gonna loop around, right? Let's take it out of record. Just gonna solo that up just so you hear that filter opening and closing, right? Simple, nothing special going on, but let's work with it just a little bit more. So I'm gonna drop back down over here to my track, and I'm gonna bring up a plug-in here. Now I mentioned the AAX format, right? So here's another AAX plugin. And one of our third-party plugins. I'm loving this one already. I got my hands on this one about 2 weeks ago. My boss wanted it back. No, they're not getting it back. This is mine now. This is by a company called Push Audio, and it's their UBK1. So this is modeling kind of a classic compressor, right? But it's so much more than just a compressor. I mean, you can really saturate the sound. I'm just gonna bring that saturation up a little bit. Just bring up that headroom. You can just hear it kind of really grinding that sound a little bit. Let's bring the kick and snare in with it. So let's get in there. So that bass has a little bit of character. I like what's going on with it. Let's add just a little bit more. I should have mentioned Almasteur's multi-timbre. So you can have multiple sounds loaded up, right? So let's bring in another one of the sounds. Here we go. Boom. Everything's always going to be in time, right? Real simple. So creation is simple. Pro Tools is a music creation station. All of the great sounding virtual instruments, we make a ton of them, but we have some incredible third-party partners, and that's what I wanted to focus on for that moment. So let's get away from these, and let's kind of move on. I'm going to take this auto record. Just kind of hide that and get that out of the way for a minute. Show you some little different stuff. So in this case, we're going to talk a little bit about some audio. I've done a lot of virtual instrument. Let's talk some about audio for a moment. My memory locates. So I've got a sample. I want to do a little bit of sampling right now. Not that I condone sampling. It's not what I do, but check this out. This may be, possibly, Dad, I don't know, you tell me, this may be the funkiest song ever recorded. Just my opinion. Sly and the Family Stone, this is a little old school for some of you, but just feel that again. I love that. So step one, for sampling, what we want to do is we have to get this to match the tempo of the song, right? So we added elastic time a couple of years ago in the Pro Tools, and it's completely relevant for any kind of music production. I've already got it on the track, so I can just right-click, boom, say conform the tempo. Done. No more thinking about it, it's done. So now let's do a little bit of work to that, okay? So in this case, I want to do a little bit of shaping, a little filtering. So I've got a couple of plugins down here. Now these are Audio Suite plugins, and this is new to Pro Tools 10. But you know what, this has been requested for years and years and years and years. The ability to have multiple Audio Suite plugins open. It sounds like a small thing, but guys, especially in post, are doing this every day, and just having that will save hours of their time a week. But they didn't stop there. They did some more stuff. You can tie these to what we call window configs. So you can have multiple configurations of whatever plugins you want, whatever you like. They can already be laid out however you want to use them. And it also will bring up whatever presets you want to store it with. So it can be a major time saver for music production. So here's what I want to do. I don't want the whole track. I just really want the guitars. So I'm going to run it through a guitar amp. So this now, this setting kind of already shapes it so it's mostly guitar, right? I mean, if I bypass, you're going to hear drums. We don't want all the drums, right? We just want that guitar part. So that's cool. I'm just going to hit render, which will just process it. Done. Now let's run it through another plugin. This is Metric Halo. Now, these guys make a plugin. This one's called Transient Control. This is another AAX plugin, or part of the new format. You're seeing it as an Audio Suite plugin, but this is also a native or a DSP plugin. I love this one. So this will allow me to go in and kind of control these peaks in the waveform. See these up here? I don't want that. This is a sample. I want it to be a little bit flatter, so I can tell it to decrease those peaks. Plus, I'll audition it because I just like the graphics. They're kind of cool down there. But we're good with that one. Let's hit render. Boom, done. So now when I play it, it's primarily guitar, and it's kind of ready to sample. So I can go through. And I'm just going to chop this up real quick. I don't want the whole thing. I would never take the whole song. We just want bits and pieces, right? We'll just kind of move that out. Maybe we want let's say just that much. And that's what I did. So I already put that throughout the track. So here's what it sounds like in the track. So we get the guitar just giving us the initial, right? Just to kind of get things going. But it's not done yet. Still needs some rhythm behind it because it feels like a sample, right? So I would turn that down in the mix. Let's bring up some rhythm. Here's another virtual instrument, Rob Papin. Just gonna solo this real quick. And you can hear this has a little bit of just some strumming, right? That's cool. So we have some strumming with our sample. But let's run it through another plugin. Here's another great plugin by a third-party company, FabFilter. These guys have a whole suite of plugins that are amazing. So I'm gonna use this one real quick, Timeless, for a little bit of rhythm delays. Okay, so here it is, check it out. So now we got just a little bit more, well, it's timeless. So So let's bring this in with the track. Here you go. Okay, so we're getting there, getting close. We bring that back down. So I'm almost feeling it. I'm almost feeling the track. I still have some more work to do. So at this point, I decided, you know what? I need to hear some vocals. I don't want to just finish out a whole bed of music and then hand it off to a vocalist. So I went to vocaldownloads.com. I like this site because they got a ton of different loops and not just audio loops, but I'm talking vocal loops and ideas, things you can try out. I found some stuff I like, so I went to my friend Delana. She's a great vocalist. You'll hear her on a ton of house songs. And also a girl named Stephanie who's going to sing it for me. They wrote some lyrics. We hit the studio and tracked. Probably about 50 or 60 tracks of vocals. That's right, we went crazy. I've got the power. I don't have to worry about, I have multiple tracks. I don't have to worry about storing things. I can bring them up and edit them later, and that's what I did. So I kind of comped together this verse. So let's get there. Now let's get there. Now I'm comping it together. The fun part is really doing the production. This is the stuff, I don't know, you guys, if you're like me, you kind of love the production. I like playing, but I really like tweaking. So we talk about a new feature in Pro Tools 10. This one is called Clip Gain. So look at the bottom of that region, or that clip I should say. You see a little dB readout, right? So right next to it, there's a small fader if you click on it. So look, I can just quickly adjust the volume of that clip. So what is this? I mean, it's a major time saver. In the past, that would have to be automation, right? Nobody really wants to start doing automation this early in the production. So this is not automation. All my automation is available for later on. This is a quick way to go in and kind of start tweaking and making adjustments. So watch this. Let's look at this in a little bit more of a real world way. Put that back, first of all. And I'm going to zoom back out. Highlight this, go to the top, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So again, I like to track. When I track, I want to get the sound that I want on the way in. In my opinion, that's the best way to go, but you can work how you want to work. In this case with vocals, a lot of times we'll compress them, right? I mean, that's part of the sound. When you compress anything, you're going to start to hear some artifacts that maybe weren't really so loud, like breathing and breath and stuff that's going to kind of pump with the compressor. Listen to this.
Got a break for tonight, going hard, do it right, hit the floor, girls look tight.
So you can kind of hear a little bit of going on at the beginning, right? So this is all the stuff that people would go do after the fact in production. And we can do this really easily with Clip Gain now. Just going to highlight that. Now, while I'm here, I want you to just focus on this. In front of me, I've got a couple of work surfaces over here. These are the Artist Mix and the Artist Control. Artist Mix gives me access to faders, solos, pans, mutes, plugins, sends. Artist Control, I have access to all those same things, but I have a touch screen here. So I can really start to dial in and get to some different types of things in Pro Tools. So here's a window. I know it's not clear for you, but full Clip Gain. So I can get to things like, well, first of all, let's bring up the Clip Gain line so you can see a line over the clips. It makes it a little easier to see what's going on. So I can nudge this up or down from right here on the surface, or if I want to use the scroll wheel, I can just use the scroll wheel from right here on the surface. Bottom line, it gives you some other functionality other than just mixing. You can do some true editing from right here on the surface. So I got that first one. Let's highlight this bit right here. And now, for those of you that do not have a control surface, watch the mouse. As I get closer to that Clip Gain line, it turns into a new tool. So I can just quickly grab and turn down the gain right there. Let's do this one. That's a nice loud breath. We'll grab that real quick, bring it down. And I'll get one more. How about this one? We'll bring that one down. So now this is solo, so take a listen now. Those should be a lot lower.
Got a break for tonight, going hard, do it right, hit the floor.
Right, and with the track, of course, you'll never hear it. So.
Got a break for tonight, going hard, do it right, hit the floor, girls look tight.
So it gives you a quick, easy way to go in and start to really finesse the track long before you've even gotten to the point of having to do automation. I love Clip Gain, a major time saver. All right, so let's move forward. Got one more thing I want to show you. I'm going to go back to another screen here. Memory locates. All right, we'll bring back up our keynote for a second. I want you to see one other thing here. Last year, a big focus for Abbott was sound quality. So what do I mean by that? Number one, they refreshed the full product line of interfaces. So there's all new inbox.